Hey everyone, welcome to another chocolate for breakfast, the last one of the year. I'm so excited that I have been celebrating with all of you all year long since February. I went back and looked, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, but I went back and looked at when I started these, and it all started with my daily every day for 28 days in February. And here I am in December, and it's almost the last day of the year, and I'm celebrating still with a little bit of chocolate for breakfast in the morning. So I'm excited about that. So those of you who have never joined me before for this, what I do is I make a chocolate recipe, and I eat it first thing in the morning. It's chocolate for breakfast, right? And the reason why I do that is because I think it's important to with fun things that you love and celebrate all day long, right? So don't wait till dessert. Don't wait till the end of the year, right? Do it first thing. So we've got January coming around the corner, so you can start now and keep celebrating all year long in 2018. Like often with the things that you love. And for me, one of the things that I really love is chocolate. And so this is kind of a silly thing because it sort of feels like it's when it first started out, I thought, what does chocolate have to do with my YouTube channel, right? But to me, chocolate is a fantasy food that helps you indulge and enjoy the things you love in life. And so, you know, it makes sense. So anyway, I appreciate all of you who have joined me in this last year. And if you are live, please do say hello in the chat box. You don't have to even tell me anything. Just say hi, because it's fun to know that people are here. I'd love to see you guys and chat with y'all. And also, if you feel so inclined, tell me what your favorite chocolate is, or what your favorite chocolate recipe is, or what you're celebrating too. I always celebrate 3 things. So what would be really kind of a fun thing to do is to celebrate 3 of the recipes that I've made this year that are my favorites, rather than celebrating awesome things going on in my life. There's always awesome things going on, and I'll continue to celebrate those because it's been an amazing year. But I've commemorated them with some awesome chocolate, and so I thought it would be fun to talk about those. So before we get started, though, I did make a new chocolate recipe today, and it's really, really cool. It's really fun is what it is. So for Christmas, we got my daughter like a little mini, and it's so cute. We got it at Urban Outfitters. It looks like this. It's just a cute little guy, and it's just so fun. It's so cute. We're like, she's gonna love this. And she does love waffles. And we thought, well, maybe, you know, when she goes off to college in a couple years, she could bring that with her, and it'd be kind of a fun little thing to have in her dorm room or wherever she goes in life. It's fun to have something like that where it's kind of single serving. You don't have to have like these big waffles all the time, right? And what's kind of cool about it is that after I made the chocolate waffles, I was thinking this would be so fun to make a big batch of them, and then, you know, just put them in your freezer or your fridge, and almost like an Eggo waffle, right? You could just pull them out and toast them easily, and you don't have to have like the big ones, right? So it's, to me, I think they're really kind of practical too, to have that little mini waffle maker. And it's also a lot easier to kind of measure out and see that you have just enough of the batter in the griddle or whatever you might call that thing. Anyway, hey Robin, I see you're here. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So yeah, so anyway, I decided to make chocolate waffles, obviously, with the mini waffle maker. I've made waffles before in my chocolate for breakfast series, but they were chocolate chip and they had raspberries in them. And so they were a little bit different recipe. This time they're just straight up chocolate. I found a recipe that I really liked because it had, it was kind of a basic, like fluffier looking recipe. The only thing was, is I modified it just a little bit. Once I made it, the dough felt a little bit too thick to me. So one of the things the recipe asked for was to add water. So I added just a tiny bit more water and added a tiny bit of milk. And then it also didn't ask for any baking powder, which to me, if you want like a fluffy waffle, that makes sense to me. And I looked up other recipes online, and most other recipes had baking powder. So I just added a ½ teaspoon of baking powder to the recipe as well. So I will put the link for that recipe down below, and then I'll also make those notes on how I modified it. And it was really, really delicious. I actually have already imbibed in one, but you can see what it looks like. It's so cute. It's a cute little waffle. And I just put a little bit of powdered sugar in it. And you can see, actually, it'd be so easy, almost like an Eggo waffle, just to eat this with your hands rather than a fork. In fact, since it's right now here in my hands, I'm just going to eat it this way. Oh my gosh, so good. And like I said, so easy to stick in your fridge, toast it the next morning, and you've got breakfast for the whole week. So, funny enough, this actually waffle maker came with its own little little cookbook, and it had a recipe, which I didn't notice till later. It had a recipe in here for chocolate waffles, and they had it serving with strawberries, which I think would be so good. Like, you know, when fresh berries are in season, I could see it being really yummy. And it also has a recipe in here for a cinnamon roll waffle, which is kind of a cool idea. You pile them up, and it has cinnamon on them, and then you can just pour a little bit of the typical glaze, like cinnamon roll glaze on it. Fun ideas in this thing too. So anyway, really, really good. I gotta take another bite, you guys. This is delicious. That powdered sugar adds just the right touch, because I was thinking to myself, even though the recipe actually had quite a bit of sugar in it, that it might need just a little bit more. So anyways, perfect. Really, really good. So let's get to the celebrations. So I am celebrating, as I mentioned, the videos that I've made this year with chocolate for breakfast. And looking back on the year, I have done 62 videos, 62, where I'm celebrating with chocolate. And that's a pretty cool thing, because each one of those, so I'm gonna do a quick calculation here, because I did this in, watch, my cat is making a bunch of noise, because we put out one of our Christmas boxes for her to play with. Yes, Adela. And she's like making all kinds of noise and meowing. I don't know if you can hear her in the background. Yes, Della. So by celebrating, I can still hear her. She's making such a mess over there. By making 62 or celebrating 62 times, I then celebrated 186 things this year. So when I did this in February, I wasn't making recipes every time. I was just celebrating different kinds of chocolate. And then what I was doing was on the weekend, I was making recipes. So then I decided to continue on with the series by just doing it on the weekends by making recipes. So anyway, why was I mentioning that? I can't even remember why I was mentioning that. So there was a reason, but I can't remember what it was. So anywho, the point is that I still celebrated each time, though, with 3 things. Oh, I was going to say, at the end of February, what I did was I went back and read every single thing I had celebrated during those 28 days. And there was a lot of things, as you can imagine, which was kind of a fun thing. And so I thought it would probably take more than 10 minutes for me to do that this time, to read off 162 things. But I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe that would be kind of fun. But one of the things that I did not do then, that I started to do, was I didn't write down everything I was celebrating every single week. So if I were to do that now, I'd have to go back and watch each one of those videos and write down the 3 things that I celebrated. And that's what I did for my, at the end of my February one. So anyway, I've started, though, writing down what I'm celebrating each week so that I can go back and look at that easily. That'd be kind of a fun thing to do maybe on New Year's Eve, is to just go back and read through everything that I celebrated this year. So let's see, I have a question from Robin in the chat box. Let's see, she says, so Jen, do you test the food before you're live? Yes, you know, in case it's yucky, so you won't make a yuck face on your live feed. You know what, Robin, usually I do not. I usually wait. And so there have been a couple times when I've been like, oh my God, what was I thinking? I usually wait, because I think it's kind of a fun thing to do live and see if it's really good. So, and most of the time I really loved it. There's been a couple times. So one time, the one that was probably the worst was I took some bananas and I just poured some unsweetened cocoa on top of the bananas. And then I also put in, I'm trying to remember, so unsweetened cocoa with the bananas, and there was something else. I can't remember what it was. And anyway, long story short, it was not good. Oh, it was bacon. I put bacon on it. So it wasn't actually the bacon that made it not good. What made it not good was the cocoa, the unsweetened cocoa was just like powdery and weird with the bananas. I think if I'd actually mixed up the cocoa with the bananas, and then had bacon with that, it might have been good, but it was just a weird thing. It was just a weird thing for me to do. I just was like in a random mood and feeling like it'd be kind of fun. I don't know if you've ever had some of those bowls where they put together like different kinds of fruits and peanut butter, and like they'll put together the different things like that. I think they're called ACI bowls. So they take like the ACI fruits, and I hope I'm saying that right. And then they put in different things with it, and like oats and nuts and like fresh fruits. And so, but the thing is no matter what you put in there, it kind of tastes good with that. Well, the unsweetened cocoa didn't quite work with the whole combination. I'm not sure the bacon did either. I think bacon with chocolate would be good, and I think bacon with bananas would be good, but I'm not sure the whole three thing without really adding any kind of much sweetness besides the bananas was kind of weird. Like it was just a weird combo. So anyway, that was probably the worst. And I think if you went back and looked at it, you'd probably see me making faces. And people on the broadcast were like, what are you doing putting bacon with all this? And it wasn't actually the bacon that was weird. It was that this cocoa was unsweetened. So anyway, so yeah, so I have had almost all of them live. And except for today was one of those times I didn't have it live because I tried it first. But I didn't put cocoa powder on it. Or I mean, powdered sugar on it first. And it's better with powdered sugar. This is so good. I can't stop eating it. It's almost better. I made these earlier, and then I just toasted them up right before the broadcast so I could eat this. And it's almost better like with it toasted because it has a little bit more of the crunchiness on the outside. So good. Robin's saying, yeah, unsweetened cocoa is kind of yucky on sun. You know, it kind of is. I mean, I will say, you know, after doing the chocolate tasting thing with Cara, I have a new appreciation for like the cacao flavor, and having some cacao without much sweetener is okay, but the powder is like this weird kind of dry, I mean, it's kind of like eating flour. I mean, let's be honest, with a little bit of the cacao flavor, it's just not enough. Like, and that's just a weird texture to have in your mouth is eating flour, right? So anyway, so I thought we'd get to the 3 recipes that were my favorites. I wrote down the dates where they were on, but I will put them in the description below. And then I'll also put them, I'll link them in the little iCards up above. So they'll just appear on your screen if you want to click over to them and try them. So most of these actually, believe it or not, have been made in the last few months, which is kind of interesting. So I just got better at picking out recipes. But then again, I really didn't start the recipe thing. Well, that's not true. I really did start doing recipes in February too. So, but obviously I got better. I got better at picking these out. And there were a lot of them that I really loved, but I think you know, in honor of celebrating 3 things, I'm going to celebrate those 3 things today. So my third favorite one was the chocolate French toast that I made, and I made it on September 23rd, which is my daughter's birthday, which is awesome. It's also my friend Shelly's birthday. It's a bunch of people's birthday, actually. It's a really great day. And it's really close to my aunt's birthday, which is September 22nd. Anywho, that was really good recipe. So I don't know if you guys remember, that recipe required you to make a chocolate ganache that you put in the middle. So you take the French toast and you do normal French toast, except where you put some cacao or some unsweetened cocoa in the egg mixture. And so that was kind of chocolatey and sweet also. And then you also made a chocolate ganache, and the recipe was a little bit like kind of more healthy oriented, as I've done some of mine. And so that made the chocolate ganache with coconut milk. And the coconut ganache was so good. In fact, that is worth doing on its own, even if you don't do the whole chocolate French toast. So the chocolate ganache I actually ended up using later, because the chocolate ganache with the coconut milk has a little bit more of like a mild flavor. To me, it didn't taste overwhelmingly coconut. My daughter said it was kind of coconut, too coconutty for her. She likes coconut, but it was a little bit too much for her. But I liked it because it lightened it up a little bit. I think chocolate ganache can be really, really heavy, and it kind of lightened it up. And so it was really, I thought it was delicious, and I used it in my coffee. So I just take a spoonful of that, put it in my coffee, and it's like a little bit of milk and a little bit of chocolate all at once with coffee. It's perfect. It's a perfect thing for a coffee. So, but when you made it, it was sort of like a, you know, like a ganache is almost like a sort of thick kind of chocolate glaze type of thing. And the recipe had you take the French toast and put the ganache in the middle. So you almost made like these little French toast sandwiches. And then they had you put whipped cream and then some toasted coconut and toasted almonds on top. Oh my God, it was really, really good, that recipe. And it seems like it's super complicated, but it really was not that complicated. It was super simple. It did require you to take the French toast, and after you dip it in the egg unsweetened cocoa mixture, you put it in the fridge and let it soak a little bit in more of that mixture. And you only need to do that for like an hour if you want, or you could do it overnight. So I actually did both. I tried it 2 times. I did it once just before I went on the live broadcast, and then I went another time I made it overnight, and it was good either way. It was really, really good. So really, really delicious. So yeah, so that was good. And then, yeah, the chocolate ganache too. In fact, just talking about that makes me want to make the chocolate ganache again because it was so good. And Robin is saying that it sounds amazing. It was. It's really, really, really good recipe. So like I said, I'll put the description below. I'll put the card up above so you can click on it when you watch this on the replay. And if you want to just go back and look right now, if you're live watching this, Robin, you want to go look it up. It was on September 23rd on my channel. My second favorite recipe, and this was a hard one to decide between my second and first because the second one was so good too. But I think there's a slight edge on the number one. So my second favorite was my s'mores recipe. So that was amazing. I took Golden Grams. The recipe I found was so good. Golden Grams with chocolate chips and almost like a marshmallow treat kind of type thing. You mix it together and you make this like sort of marshmallow treat with Golden Grams and chocolate chips. And then on top, after you're done, after it cools a little bit, you take the mini marshmallows and you put it on top, and then you roast it in the oven or broil it in the oven just really briefly so that the marshmallows get toasty brown on top. I'm telling you what, that tasted like a real s'more. Like if you really love s'mores, fresh when you're camping, which Robin, you've been camping with me before, and we've shared a s'more or two in the past. There's something about the Golden Graham with the kind of the crunchiness of the chocolate and then the toastiness of the marshmallow, just that golden toasty flavor. And these had the exact same flavor. Like they were addictive. Like having a whole pan of those in this house was crazy. So really loved that recipe and highly recommend it. And it's so easy. And especially right now, like when you're not able to just go out and, roast a marshmallow on the fire because it's kind of cold outside. I mean, you could, but you're probably not gonna. It's so easy to make inside your kitchen, and it tastes just like a s'more. So really, really great recipe. And then my first recipe, oh, and by the way, that one was made, I did that video on September 2nd. So that was really, really good. And Robin says, those are so good. Never heard of toasting them. Yeah, isn't that a great idea? So you just pour more marshmallows on top and you toast in the oven, and then it creates that toasty flavor. So it doesn't have that sort of, it has a more authentic flavor. It tastes like a real s'more, like straight from the campfire. So good. So anyway, my first favorite recipe that I made this year was the chocolate granola, the sea salt chocolate granola. And that one I just made in November 11th. And that was probably my favorite by far. I think partly because it kind of surprised me, and it was sort of a last minute decision to make those. And the chocolate granola, it's so good. Like, so first of all, the sea salt really helps balance out any sweetness. It just makes it taste more like this savory snack that you can just keep in your bag. But the chocolate with the salt is such a good balance together. And it was sweetened with maple syrup. And it had also some chia seeds, some sliced almonds, some unsweetened cocoa. It had barely any sugar in the whole thing, other than, obviously the maple syrup too. And it was made with coconut oil. It was really healthy for you. The point is that it's super healthy and a really great snack to have around. And I just loved that recipe. It was so good, and it's so healthy and a great snack. And I could see it being really awesome just with milk in the morning, as like almost like a cereal, or you can put it over yogurt, or you could just snack. Like what I did is just snacked on it when I was like, done with my exercise class and just needed a little protein, a little, bump of something before I go off to a meeting with a client or something like that. So great to have around as a snack. And it made the batch. I probably, next time I make it, I might make a couple batches because it makes kind of a bag, but it just goes way too fast because it's so good. And the sea salt, which I didn't even talk about in the video, but the sea salt really is like kind of the key. It really balances out the flavor. and it just tastes amazing. And I was kind of afraid also that the maple syrup and the coconut oil might be just a little too healthy. You know, sometimes when you make healthy stuff and it just has that like not quite good enough flavor, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes when you make it, it like is epic. And that was the case for this thing. Like it just, the flavors just blend together so well. So it lives up to its name, being granola and being healthy and also being very chocolatey. So good stuff. So that's it for my celebrations. Let's see. I don't see Robin saying that she's celebrating anything. And I don't see anyone else in the chat box. So I guess that's it. I can't believe this is the last chocolate for breakfast episode. Hey Jay, you are here barely under the gun. This is the almost, I was just getting to sign off. If you have anything you want to share or anything you want to celebrate with us, we would love to have it. What I did was celebrate 3 of the recipes that I made this year, 3 of my favorite recipes. And so, like I said, I will link all of those in the description below, and I'll also put them up in the YouTube cards up above, so it's easy to click on. And that's just been a great year. 62. This is my 63rd chocolate for breakfast video this year. Kind of crazy how many awesome things I celebrated throughout the year. And let's see. Oh, good. Robin's saying she's celebrating getting over the flu. And Jay is saying he's celebrating luxury pampering self-care. I love it. I love luxury pampering self-care. I took a bath this morning, which was very luxurious, and used massage oil. And I also used my body brush, which I've talked about before, but that was really awesome this morning. And I just watched some video while I chilled to my bath. It was fantastic. Jay is also saying that he's celebrating expansion, growth, and scaling businesses. I love it. And I think there's probably one more coming. But in the meantime, I just wanted to say, Robin, I'm sorry you're getting over I'm glad you're getting over the flu. Sorry you had it. I have a couple of sickies in my house too. So I know it's kind of a bummer. They don't have flu. They just have a really bad cold. But it sucks to be sick during the holidays when you're trying to enjoy your time, right? But I'm glad you're getting better and getting healthier, and I'm sure if you make yourself some awesome chocolate recipe, you'll feel better. And Jay is also saying that he's celebrating engaging strategic mind challenges. I love it. And Jay is saying he's invincible. You know, I have to admit that I kind of feel like that right now because I mean, the 2 people that I live with are like, basically, they're like, they've been sick for 5 days and I'm somehow super healthy, happy. So I think all the dancing and taking good health and care of myself and my immune system or something is kicking in. So whatever it is, I'm grateful for that. And I'm celebrating happy, healthy cells as well, along with everything else that I celebrated today. So, and Robin's saying, yeah, chocolate's always good. Totally agree. Chocolate is like a healing food, and it's the food of the gods, as we talked about before on this channel. So I highly suggest have a little chocolate, even if it's a little hot chocolate, or you can make it some of that chocolate chai that that I made a couple times ago. I can't remember where that was on what day that was, but that was just only like a month ago. The chocolate chai, you just basically take chai tea and add a little bit of unsweetened cocoa, and it's so good. So anyway, all right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, it's been a great year of celebrating with chocolate. I'm so grateful for all of you for watching my channel and for celebrating with me. And I'm looking forward to an awesome 2018 with more awesome things to celebrate, especially because the more we celebrate, the more things that there are to celebrate. So I look forward to that. And thanks again, and Happy New Year to all you. Mwah. Bye.